This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The province has issued an urgent plea for help from the military. The Manitoba government is asking Ottawa for armed forces boots on the ground to help in Pimicikamak Cree Nation. It comes ahead of the Premier's planned trip to the First Nation tomorrow and just days after most of the community was evacuated following a power outage. The CBC's Rosanna Hempel joins us live in studio. And Rosanna, what do we know so far about the province's request?
Well, Brittany, we know that Lisa Naylor, the minister responsible for emergency management in Manitoba, sent a letter to the feds yesterday. CBC has obtained a copy of it. Manitoba is asking Ottawa to deploy the Canadian Armed Forces to help with the assessment, repair, and restoration of critical infrastructure in Pimicikamak, including all water treatment plants. Chief David Monia says that's good news. He's been requesting this for almost a week. The community lost power on December 28th after a power line that crosses the Nelson River snapped. And by the time power was restored a few days later, some pipes had burst and sewage had backed up due to the freezing temperatures. Monia says more than 1,300 homes may have been affected and only a couple dozen residences have been fixed.
You need the proper resources like plumbers, home inspectors, electricians to come and see what damage is there and how many homes are in need of repair. We have identified at least 200 homes already.
So, Rosanna, what would a military deployment look like in a situation like this?
Yeah, I put this to an emergency management consultant, and here's what Shelley Napier had to say.
If the military do attend to the community, they will be there on very specific duties. So, I mean, in this instance, they may be helping with logistics. I know that there's a great need for trades, but it could be anything from assisting people to get back into their home to cleaning out homes that, perhaps were damaged.
The Federal Emergency Management Office says it's received Manitoba's request but did not say if it'll be approved. They say they already have staff on the ground assessing the damage and helping with recovery work. This comes ahead of Premier Wab Kinu's visit to Pimicikamak tomorrow. He'll be touring homes and a school alongside federal officials and Indigenous leaders. Brittany?
All right, thank you. That's CBC's Rosanna Hempel. Well, there's supposed to be spots for addicts to safely use drugs, but there's long been concerns around supervised consumption sites. But researchers from one Canadian university say sites in one major city in the country were not associated with long-term increases in crime. It's all based on data analyzed from Toronto police spanning roughly a decade. CBC's Gavin Axelrod reports.
This is where the Manitoba government wants to put the province's first supervised consumption site. It would allow people to use drugs and would have staff on hand to respond to overdoses and suggest treatment. Marla Murphy is the manager of Ultimate Wheelworks near the proposed site.
There's no reasoning with them when they're in psychosis, and to support something to enable them to partake of their illegal substances, which used to be illegal and as far as I know still is, to encourage that behavior and enable it just blows my mind.
That's one of the reasons Murphy and others oppose the site.
People coming in here, smashing the door, coming inside, vandalizing. Somebody tried to break in the side of the building on Friday. They set our entire compound on fire last year.
A recent study challenges that idea. McGill University Associate Professor Dimitra Pangiotoglou was part of the research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association.
Sometimes I turn around and say, that intervention that you're so passionate about doesn't have a huge impact at the population level. But it also means that, that intervention you're really concerned about doesn't track with the harms that you're suggesting it has.
The study looked at a decade of crime data around 9 supervised consumption sites that have since closed in Toronto. It found there were some increases of crime after opening, but over time, there were neutral to positive improvements in crime trends with the exception of break-and-enters.
And I think that's an opportunity to learn from what is working to better integrate services like this, both within Toronto but across Canada.
Murphy says the study doesn't change her mind.
I honestly don't think it's a good idea to have this anywhere.
Another business manager is encouraged.
If the studies have been made and people have done it and it's at least improved the situation in any factor, then yeah, that's great news actually. So if we can see any improvement at all, I'd be happy to see that.
the province could have more consultations on the site, which would delay a January opening. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A Winnipeg mother whose severely malnourished children were taken from her in 2023 has been sentenced to 5.5 years in prison. The woman pleaded guilty to criminal negligence causing bodily harm last year. CBC's Caitlin Gowerluck was in court, and a warning, this story contains upsetting details.
An 8-year-old boy close to death from malnourishment and his younger sister on the same path. Their mother repeatedly refused attempts by family and authorities to get them the help they needed. On Tuesday, court heard the terrible toll it took on the children and their siblings. When the children were taken from their parents, the boy couldn't walk on his own and weighed only 25 pounds. 2 years later, both children still use feeding tubes to eat, something court heard they may have to do for the rest of their lives. It's a case a Winnipeg judge described as deeply troubling, calling the mother's inaction an unforgivable moral and legal failure. The children's mother, who can't be named because of a publication ban protecting the children, was sentenced to 5.5 years in prison. Court heard the brother and sister had food aversions that their parents didn't know how to deal with. There were 3 other children in the home at the time who are now in care. Some of those children were in court Tuesday as their mother was taken into custody. One of them drew a picture to express how they felt, asking why. Help her. Could I? The woman's lawyer said she has psychological issues and argued she was in an abusive relationship that prevented her from getting help, asking for a 5-year prison sentence. Prosecutors said she had a chance every day to get help and asked for 7 years. The children's biological father has pleaded guilty to the same charge as their mother. He's still waiting to be sentenced. Their new foster dad said in a victim impact statement he still has hope for their future, but they'll have a lot of challenges ahead. Caitlin Gowerluck, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A Winnipeg high school is the latest to be targeted with anti-Semitic graffiti after someone spray painted a swastika on the building at Kelvin High School. Officials were notified of the anti-Semitic incident this morning. It's been reported to police and to Jewish organizations. They're asking anyone with information to contact police. The division superintendent says he's very concerned and arranged to have the graffiti removed immediately. It's the 3rd reported hate-related incident in Winnipeg in the past 5 days. Brandon residents are staring down the barrel of a double-digit tax increase for 2026. A budget proposal presented Monday says the city needs an additional $6.3 million in tax revenue. That means homeowners could see a tax hike over more than 10.5%. But Mayor Jeff Fawcett says he doesn't expect that to happen.
We need to get to sort of try to get it where we can so that they can know that, we're at this 6% or for a few years, and then we're hoping to drop a bit. But this year, 4% is just the new debt. We can't choose not to pay that.
Brandon has threatened double-digit tax hikes for the last 2 years, only to finally approve much lower rates. City Council has a series of meetings planned before the major budget debate at the end of January. All right, let's bring in weather specialist Riley Lachuk. And Riley, I don't want to minimize the really cold temperatures that people are dealing with up in the north, but here in the south, we've been dealing with a really mild winter so far, and I can see the graphic behind you, and I was wondering the same thing. When is the best time for us to go and clean off that car?
Ideally, probably Saturday or Sunday of last weekend, Brittany, but if you didn't get around to it, I know that's what I did last weekend. You know what? Wait a few days, because as we see a warming trend really across the province, we are going to look at much sloppier weather, particularly as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, as we see a bit more sunshine, a bit more people out on the roads. That will create a pretty sloppy situation. So here you go. Here's your warning. Make sure you've got lots of washer fluid. Wednesday, Thursday, kind of write-offs. Only if you have to wash the car, I would do it over the next couple of days. It's once we get into Friday and into the weekend and we get into some slightly cooler air that we should be in the clear to at least rinse things off here over the next for the weekend at least. So temperatures through the afternoon today, actually this high of -6 in Winnipeg. This was right at midnight as we were under some of that cloud cover hanging around the -10 mark through the Red River Valley through much of the afternoon today. -17 in Thompson, Lynn Lake at -15. Some warmer air back to the west, and this is going to start pushing to the east as we get through the coming days here, and really going to warm us up as we get into the day on Thursday. So we've been in this stubborn cloud cover across the south. I mean, a few sunny breaks here in the Red River Valley throughout the afternoon today, a bit sunnier back to the west. Temperature overnight hangs around -10, -11. Still a risk of some patchy fog through the night. Winnipeg and east into northwestern Ontario. Then we get a bit of warming, but falling back to -10 by first thing in the morning, Brittany, and up to -4 tomorrow afternoon.
All right. Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Stop, drop, and go. Why one city councillor wants to see strict 60-second timelines on school drop-offs. More on that next. Most parents have experienced the frustration of school drop-off or pickup, trying to find a spot on the street or waiting for their kids to get out of class. One city councillor says cars are waiting too long and causing safety concerns, and he has a plan to change it. But as CBC's Cameron McLean reports, others worry it could just make an already hectic situation worse.
It's 3 p.m. on Tuesday, and cars are already lining up at La Vérendrye School. Krista Nicholson is picking up her daughter and says congestion is hard to avoid.
It's often a little tight, with traffic. I think maybe we could decide a bit better flow of traffic.
Congestion like this is what St. Norbert St. River councillor Marcus Chambers says he's trying to fix. He has a motion calling for citywide standards for drop-off and pickup zones at elementary schools, including a 1-minute time limit for drivers loading and unloading children.
What we want to see is an organized, zone that cars can stage and then enter the pickup and drop-off zone, and then have up to 1 minute to either load their children in or their children disembark to go to school.
But Nicholson says limiting parents to 1 minute isn't the solution.
No, I don't think that's safe at all to just be rushing.
Aradia Gibbons agrees 1 minute is not a realistic time limit.
Have a kid or two yourself. Take them out of the car, put on their jackets and do all that, and put back on the jackets and, put them in and strap them in and see how long it takes.
The president of the Manitoba School Boards Association says parents are already rushed, and imposing a deadline could increase the risk of unsafe behavior.
I think the last thing we need is for people to actually feel rushed by way of a 1 minute deadline. That's just a recipe for disaster if a kid happens to slip or if a pedestrian walking by happens to slip. It's just an endless number of incidents that could occur by actually imposing a rush.
Chambers says enforcement would start with education and urged parents to get their kids organized before they get to school.
Do you have your backpack? Do you have your gloves, your mitts, your boots, everything? So that when they enter that drop-off zone, they're so much more efficient in terms of getting their children out of the car within that 1 minute time span.
The motion will be debated at the Riel Community Committee on Wednesday. Cameron McLean, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Starting this month, Manitoba is dramatically reshaping how it staffs hospitals with private agency nurses. The province is cutting ties with dozens of agencies, reducing that list from nearly 80 to just 4. The government says the move will save money and bring more nurses back into the public system. But the CBC's Ian Fraze spoke with one nurse who says the changes may push some of her colleagues to leave.
Hospitals in Manitoba turn to private agencies when they don't have enough nurses. The health minister has criticized the practice, saying private nurses have almost become the default. Now the province is cutting back, ending its relationship with dozens of agencies.
It will make the cost more sustainable, and most importantly, it'll make sure that Manitobans are getting consistent, high-quality care delivered when agencies are needed to be used.
Starting January 15th, Manitoba will cut the almost 80 private agencies, filling shifts at public healthcare facilities to just 4. One agency nurse expects that to backfire.
Because even with the 70 agencies we did have, we couldn't fill all the needs, hence why I'm working 16-hour shifts and other people working 24-hour shifts. So how do they think cutting it down to 4 is going to make it better?
The health minister has made no secret of wanting to curb private nursing. It's expensive. The amount Manitoba spends on agency nurses has soared year after year. Izoma Asaguera hopes the new rules on private agencies will push some nurses to look for work in the public system, but
I'm very sad that it's pushing me out of the province, to say the least.
The government is also imposing new controls over private agencies, including limits on what nurses earn for traveling. Melissa Dupont says that's a mistake.
I think they're going to find it harder to fill shifts further away from Winnipeg because people aren't getting paid that mileage.
But Asaguera expects the public healthcare system to benefit. More than 200 nurses have recently signed up to work for the province as a traveling nurse. Many of them come from private agencies. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The former chief of Sioux Valley Dakota Nation says he's agreed to stop a court challenge disputing his November election loss. Vince Tashin filed legal action asking the court to invalidate the election of Jennifer Bone as chief, arguing vote counting was compromised. But on Monday, the day the case was to be heard, Tashin said he accepted terms of an agreement recognizing Bone as chief. As part of the agreement, Tashin says the electoral officer will finish counting the votes for council members, and if there are any irregularities, there will be a new election. The electoral officer walked out on election night saying he felt threatened by community members. Riley back in now, and we were talking about when the best time is to wash your car if you have the opportunity.
Yeah.
I did not have a chance this weekend. I feel like it's the same with that as it is with gas. Every time I should fill up, I don't, and then gas goes up.
And then gas goes up, you're right.
And this is the time. So you have heard it here. If you didn't have a chance last weekend, next weekend is your best shot.
Give it a few days here, Brittany, because we are getting into some slightly cooler air in the south once again. I'm going to start with the 10-day temperature trend, just to give you a sense on where we're headed. So, I mean, temperatures over the next couple of days at least staying fairly consistent. Keep in mind, our normal daytime high for this time of the year, minus 13 degrees. So para -4s through the middle of the week, dipping closer to that seasonal through the weekend. That's why I say that sort of Saturday, Sunday time period, likely your best bet if you're hoping to get a rinse in on your vehicle or maybe do some yard cleanup if you have any snow left to kind of take care of here before we get into some warmer air early next week. And then you see this drop off as we get toward the middle of the month back toward seasonal. So we are going in this sort of up and down roller coaster over the next several days. The saving grace being that the weather itself actually stays fairly stable. We're not looking at any major precipitation or any major systems pushing through. And that's all because of what's happening upper atmosphere. So you can start to see this ridge starting to build into the west here. That's going to push us into some slightly warmer air as we get through Wednesday, Thursday. But by the time we get to the weekend, we get under the influence of this deep trough in the jet stream once again. And the thing is, we're going to be kind of bouncing around on either side of the jet stream here over the next several days. And that will determine whether we're into some of that warmer air or some of that cooler air. So this is that cooler pocket as we get through the weekend. And then into early next week again, we start to see that upper level wind pushing in some warmer air. And then we're back on the cooler side by the middle of the week. So and just prepare for that up and down in temperatures over the next several days here. Still some cloud cover hanging around. I do expect we'll see most of this clearing out through the overnight hours. However, as I'll show you in a moment, we are looking at the potential for some fog, particularly into northwestern Ontario, once again into southeastern Manitoba through the overnight hours. And then high pressure clears us out and hopefully a bit sunnier than it was today for most of us across the province. Mix of sun and clouds into northern Manitoba, maybe a couple of flurries out of some of this as we get through the next 48 hours. But precipitation-wise, really that's about it for any real weather impacting the province. Even winds for the next several days staying fairly light. So visibility-wise, I mean, we're looking at things staying as they are for the most part into the western part of the province, but you can see the forecast modeling depicting the potential, the ingredients there for some fog development. And once again, overnight into the early morning hours into Wednesday through parts of the Red River Valley and into northwestern Ontario into the morning. So any travel east of the city in particular, keep that in mind that we could be running into some fog into the morning tomorrow. By the afternoon, temperatures back into the minus single digits, -4s for Brandon and Dauphin, close to freezing along the international border, but still staying fairly cool yet seasonal for northern Manitoba, -15 into Thompson for the afternoon. Brittany, -4 for Thursday for Winnipeg, and a chance of flurries into Friday.
Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Well, here's a look at the port rink at the Forks as we head to break. We're back right after this.
This is Manitoba. And this is Manitoba on your smart TV, because CBC News is now streaming local. Local news and weather on your connected TV or favorite device. CBC News Manitoba, streaming now.
U.S. President Donald Trump is doubling down on his threat to acquire Greenland. It comes just days after his administration staged an incursion in Venezuela and captured its leader to face drug trafficking charges in New York. It's all prompting fears both around the world and in the U.S. about a possible new American strategy of militaristic imperialism. Katie Nicholson has the details on the latest statement from the White House.
The White House statement is likely only to further inflame the worries in Denmark and its self-governing territory, Greenland. It says President Trump has made it well known that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority of the United States, and it's vital to deter our adversaries in the Arctic region. The president and his team are discussing a range of options to pursue this important foreign policy goal, and of course, utilizing U.S. military is always an option at the commander-in-chief's disposal. That from the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. Remember, it was just last night that Trump's deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, suggested no one would fight the U.S. for the territory. Some in Congress are expressing concern about this new wave of expansionist language and messaging from the Trump administration. Earlier today, before this White House statement came out, Republican Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky weighed in on the operation in Venezuela and his concerns about statements from the administration that the U.S. will run that country and take its oil.
Imagine if you're an opponent of Maduro, you're pro-American, today you're holding up an American flag saying, thank God we got rid of the dictator and this is a good thing. But then in the next minute they tell you that America now, it won't be the dictator Maduro in charge, now America will be in charge of your oil. I can see how this will destroy goodwill in Venezuela, the same way in Greenland and Canada it's destroyed goodwill. The whole idea that Canada will become a 51st state has destroyed goodwill.
Paul says the U.S. needs to be more careful and respectful in the way it treats the world. And earlier today, we also heard from Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who was trying to frame the U.S.'s intentions around Greenland for reporters and use more diplomatic language.
I'm not saying we're going to go take over Greenland. I'm saying we're going to build up our military presence, and we need to create a new relationship between the United States and Greenland to make sure our investment is secure.
At the same time, across the Senate floor, Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego is seizing on this moment to introduce an amendment to a defense spending bill that would prohibit the use of funds for any military force or hostilities against Greenland. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Washington.
More than 24 countries, including Canada, have agreed to provide defense guarantees for Ukraine if a peace deal is reached with Russia. The statement released by the so-called Coalition of the Willing says Europe will lead the effort with Canadians and Australians assisting. But other issues hung over the leaders' meeting in Paris, namely the U.S. military action in Venezuela and the threats of annexing Greenland. Marie Brewster reports.
A low-key beginning to a high-stakes day. Prime Minister Mark Carney breakfasting with French President Emmanuel Macron. A gathering aimed at giving Ukraine concrete security commitments ahead of possible peace talks with Russia. But U.S. military action in Venezuela and the notion Greenland, a territory of Denmark, a NATO country, might be up next, cast a long shadow.
We stand with Denmark, we stand with Greenland. Our closest partnership is with the United States, and we'll work with everybody to make sure that we move forward together.
Several European coalition countries, including France, the UK, Germany, and Spain, released a joint statement today saying Greenland's future belongs to the people of Greenland. The show of solidarity for Greenland comes amid stark warnings from Denmark to take Donald Trump's threats seriously.
If
the United States chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, said the Danish Prime Minister, including NATO. A sobering message as Carney met with the Secretary General of NATO, and later with Denmark, where the Danish media has only one question.
What happens if Trump tries to annex Greenland?
Increasing the concern, Trump advisor Stephen Miller is refusing to rule out U.S. military action in Greenland.
Nobody's going to fight the United States.
militarily over the future of Greenland.
When asked about those remarks, Carney suggested NATO would stand strong, noting Canada's foreign minister will be making a trip to Greenland in February.
As NATO, we can provide security for all of NATO, Greenland included. And as the threat environment is changing, we're making the investments in order to do that.
The U.S. envoy to Ukraine, Steve Witkoff, and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner took part in today's conference and likely got an earful. In the end, it was messy, but Ukraine got the security guarantees it was looking for. How robust and enforceable they might be remains to be seen. Marie Brewster, CBC News, Paris.
Nestle has issued an urgent recall of some of its baby formula sold in Europe and several other countries, but not here in Canada. The Swiss food and drink maker says certain batches of SMA infant milk substitute and follow-up formulas are under recall. The affected products could be contaminated with a toxin that can cause nausea and vomiting and should not be fed to children. Nestle says no illness or symptoms have been reported so far, but the recall is being issued out of an abundance of caution. No Nestle baby formula products sold in Canada have been affected. Air Transat pilots have officially signed off on a new 5-year employment contract. 91% of pilots voted in favor of the deal. Now, last month, the airline reached a tentative agreement with the pilots' union just ahead of the busy holiday travel period, but not before it canceled dozens of flights in anticipation of a strike. Today's ratified deal marks the first negotiated agreement at the airline in more than a decade. It's set to expire at the end of April in 2030. Canada's intelligence watchdog is sounding the alarm over budget cuts. It warns cost-cutting will limit its ability to keep a close eye on the people who deal with the country's most sensitive information at a time when Ottawa looks to spend big on defense. Catherine Tooney explains what's at risk.
Inside the buildings behind me, Canadian spies are at work gathering top secret information. Their work is classified and largely hidden from the public, but not from the eyes of its watchdog agencies.
There's traditionally in Canada been an expectation that with great powers comes great responsibility, and these services have great powers.
Here at the National Security and Intelligence Review Agency, investigators keep tabs on how that power is used, making sure anyone who deals with intelligence, from spies to Mounties, is behaving above board and that the rights of individuals are respected. But the watchdog is warning that planned Liberal budget cuts are putting that work at risk. Like other government departments, NCIRA has been told to slash its budget. Craig Forsey says that belt-tightening will likely mean fewer reviews and a lighter touch.
That is that we may not be able to follow every thread to the extent that we currently do. And both those outcomes would be regrettable and I think perilous in terms of the confidence that one can have in the legality and ultimately the efficacy of our security and intelligence community.
The cuts come at a time when the government is trying to pass legislation that would make it easier for CSIS and the RCMP to get private electronic information and expand the Coast Guard's mandate to gather intelligence.
We will have to reduce the degree of scrutiny that we conduct in relation to those agencies.
The reality is, this national security observer says a wider rethink is overdue.
There was supposed to be a review as to how these agencies actually operate, and so far that hasn't been done. So it's hard to actually know the impact that this will have without that review that was promised.
The federal government says it will work with NCIRA about its concerns, but the public safety minister has been clear. Cuts are coming to the intelligence watchdog. Catherine Tunney, CBC News, Ottawa.
Safety concerns are being raised after a Toronto boy fell to the ground while riding a zip line at an indoor park over the weekend. The 11-year-old escaped with some internal bruising and is recovering at home. But his parents are wondering why more measures are not in place to protect kids. The CBC's Ali Shiasen reports.
A parent's nightmare. At an Ontario indoor trampoline park, 11-year-old Raman Azizi checks the harness at the top of the zip line, but he doesn't make it far. His mother recording the frightening moment he was injured.
When I see him,
I was like out of my mind that time.
I ran as fast as I could, thinking all things to the extreme.
Raman's parents worried about injuries to his spine or his head.
When I went down, the first thing my son said to me, "Daddy, am I dying?"
Raman was taken to Toronto's Sick Kids Hospital. His family says he suffered internal bruising but is going to be okay.
It must have been so scary. Do you remember how you felt?
I was feeling very traumatized and scared.
We asked an expert in zipline accidents to watch the video. He says he'd want to know if there was a secondary carabiner attaching the harness to the line.
So if something fails, you've got a backup.
And whether the facility had enough staff.
And really, you need people at different connection points watching everybody.
Ontario's public safety regulator says Aerosports Trampoline Park never had the zip line inspected or tested prior to running it.
The operator had not notified TSSA that it had been installed, and therefore it was not authorized by TSSA. The equipment has been taken out of service.
The park issued a statement saying the incident is currently under review with insurers and legal counsel. And given that this involves a minor, it says it's not providing interviews or additional details at this time. But Raman's parents want his story told.
I don't want to see another kid hurt.
While the zip line is closed, the trampoline park remains open. It's unclear what penalties they may face. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
Stay with us. We have more local news straight ahead when we come back. Independent MLA Mark Wasiliu is suing Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew and 2 other NDP MLAs for defamation. This is over statements associating the Fort Garry MLA with convicted sexual predator Peter Nygaard. CBC's Bartley Kivas reports.
Mark Wasiliu has sat as an independent member of the Manitoba legislature since September 2024, when the NDP kicked him out of caucus. In a statement of claim filed with Manitoba's Court of King's Bench 2 days before Christmas, Wasiliu claims Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew, Seine River MLA Billy Cross, and Kiiwetinoong MLA Ian Bushy defamed him at the time by making statements associating Wasiliu, a defense lawyer by profession, with convicted criminal Peter Nygaard. Wasiliu, who's never represented Nygaard, says in his claim he was humiliated and suffered reputational damage when Kinew said this.
You can be affiliated with the NDP, or you can be affiliated with Peter Nygaard, but you can't do both.
Wasiliu says in his claim Cross and Bushy made similar statements. The Fort Garry MLA claims Kinew, Cross and Bushy associated him with Nygaard as both an unjustifiable and misleading excuse to oust him from the NDP and to reduce his political standing in the community. Wasiliu is seeking a published apology and financial damages from Kinew and his NDP colleagues. He also wants a court order to prevent Kinew from disparaging him in the future. None of the allegations have been proven in court. No statement of defense has been filed. Wasiliu and a spokesperson for Kinew's office declined further comment. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The Olympic torch reached a major milestone in its journey across Italy. It is 31 days away from its final destination, the Olympic Cauldron in Milan. And that means just 1 month to go to Milano Cortina 2026. Today, the torch will arrive in the city of Bologna after it passes through 4 other cities on its long route. Over the coming weeks, it'll zigzag throughout northern Italy. It arrives in Milan on February 4th, just ahead of the opening ceremony. Very excited for Olympics to start. Do you have a favorite Olympic sport to watch?
I always like the hockey.
The hockey's always good. For me, it's figure skating.
Oh, yes.
I grew up as a figure skater. My mom was a coach, so it's got to be the skating.
Yeah.
But, it's going to be good times to watch that.
Yes, and you know what? Dead of winter, usually, we get into some cooler air. It's always a good time to cozy on up. And
this is our time. It is our prime, these
really
winter sports.
Exactly. Also, great weather for a dog walk as well. Have to say that because we are looking at temperatures in many communities actually rising through the overnight hours. We're about as low as we'll go in most cases. So we'll take a look at the dog walking forecast first, and we've got a couple of holdouts still to go from the holiday season. So here's one of those. Figaro from Nicole. Thank you for sending, what a cutie, just dressed up in front of the fireplace there. You can send yours to talkback at cbc.ca. So as we get through the morning hours tomorrow, again, we're about as low as we'll go by the time we get into the morning, around -10 in Winnipeg first thing. -4 by the afternoon, depends how much sunshine we get. We might squeak a -3 out of that by late afternoon tomorrow in Winnipeg, and looking at -5 by the evening. So all in all, our normal high for this time of the year, -13 degrees. So if you're a fan of the warmer weather, enjoy what we've got coming, because we are entering a stretch here where we'll see temperatures for the most part above seasonal for this time of the year. Okay, looking at temperatures right now in Winnipeg, -10. We've been hanging around -10 through much of the afternoon today. Pressure at 100.5 kilopascals, and you can certainly see a lot more from our tower camera than you could through the overnight hours last night, just because we've seen some of that low cloud cover start to lift a little bit further north. Temperatures across the south, these again are about as low as they'll go as we get through the night tonight. -12 in Brandon, -16 in Dauphin at the moment, and looking at temperatures into the -20s still along the Hudson Bay coast at Churchill at -24 and Gillam sitting at -22 degrees. So as we get through the overnight hours, we'll see temperatures rising as we get through the night tonight for most of us. So by the time we get into the morning tomorrow, closer to -8 likely in Winnipeg. First thing in the morning, though, likely still sitting around -10, but rising to around -10 through western parts of the province as well. And again, into southeastern Manitoba, northwestern Ontario, the potential of getting into some patchy fog as we get through the night tonight. Temperatures in Thompson, Norway House also also rising through the night, minus 23 in Shamattawa, Churchill at minus 24 degrees. And as we get through the day tomorrow, looking at a mix of sun and clouds, minus 13 in Thompson by the afternoon. Gillam, more like a mainly cloudy sky. Out of some of this, maybe a couple of odd flurries as we get through the day tomorrow. Again, temperatures in the north staying very seasonal for this time of the year. It's in southern Manitoba where we're really jumping up as we get through the day. So high pressure will really clear us out. I mean, first thing in the morning, perhaps a bit of fog as we get into northwestern Ontario. Then we're into temperatures that will climb through the day. Minus 4 in Dauphin by the afternoon, minus 5 in Gimli, and even looking at temperatures, Brittany, close to the freezing mark along the international border. Your 7-day forecast is coming up.
Right. Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
It can be a dreary and unwelcoming place, but unfortunately, too many kids know the inside of hospital rooms all too well. Now, some local organizations are hoping to spruce them up and make families stay there a little easier. The Children's Hospital is looking for local artists who might be able to help. Stefano Grande is the president and CEO of the Children's Hospital Foundation of Manitoba and joins me now. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Stefano, this is a really important project. So tell me a little bit about this initiative and what you guys are hoping to do.
Well, we are inviting Manitoba artists to reimagine our CK5 ward at the Children's Hospital, which is the place where kids who are challenged with cancer go for their medical procedures, in addition to other kids being challenged with blood disorders and transplants. We're wanting our artists in our province to bring some inspiration, child-friendly artwork that brings comfort, joy, hope to the kids and the families during long stays and challenging stays at our hospital, starting at CK5. Our hospital is perhaps one of the oldest operating hospitals in Canada, and a lot of our rooms have not been renovated and improved since the 80s. And so the CK5 ward is our first pilot. 15 rooms are going to be renovated. The entire ward is being rehabilitated with new infrastructure, new bedside equipment, new furniture, more comfortable furniture, and this important piece, asking artists to bring light and happiness into right now, which are kind of dreary, old, obsolete spaces.
Stefano, too many young Manitobans know that ward all too well. One of them is 3-year-old Ella, who had leukemia. She spent a long time in CK5. Like you said, that childhood cancer, blood disorders, and transplants ward. We're looking at some video of her now. This is where the project is starting. Why that ward in particular?
You know, as I mentioned, we have the oldest hospital in Canada, and all the rooms need to be improved to bring about better design and give hope to these kids. CK5 is one of our older wards that hasn't been touched for a while. And the hospital wanted to begin renovations, and with their support, we've overlaid this art piece, which they've embraced. And as I said, this will be a pilot, which, if it works well, we'll be doing this in the years to come in the other wards throughout the hospital.
So how can art make a difference for a child that is staying in the hospital?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, the inspiration that we got for this project actually came from the kids and the families, the parents, the caregivers that have spent time there. And what they tell us is that our hospital should be a place that offers comfort and hope and a sense of possibility. Right now, a lot of our kids don't feel inspired or warm, but beautiful rooms that reflect the excellence and compassion of our healthcare teams who support them are really important. And we're really hoping the Manitoba artists think about those kids in the rooms and bring their world of art, no matter where they're located in our province, into these rooms. And so when these kids who are there from Nunavut or Thompson or Winkler or Winnipeg, when they see those images of nature, those kids playing in familiar spaces, it makes them feel safer. It makes them feel a little bit more connected. And all of us want to live in well-designed rooms and spaces, and so too kids. And just because our hospital is an institution doesn't mean design is not part of that solution to improve healthcare and to even accelerate the health of kids as they're recovering by being in these warm, inspiring places.
Well, we do know that construction is already underway. It's part of a $2.5 million campaign. When is everything all going to be said and done?
Well, as we speak, construction is underway. I think they're at the drywall stage. So we've put out the call to artists today, and there's a deadline, and we're hoping to receive hundreds of different art pieces, art designs coming from Manitoba artists. And we'll be making a selection sometime in February and doing the install sometime in March, April, just in time for the kids to be back in those rooms.
Wonderful. Well, Stefano, we can't wait to see that finished product. Thank you so much for joining us. An important campaign underway.
Thank you.
Still ahead, how kids and adults are sliding into 2026. Stay with us.
All right, time for a look at your 7-day forecast, and really much of the same from what you're going to see in the short term here. So -4 for Winnipeg the next couple of days. Bit brighter as we get through the day tomorrow into Thursday. I do have a chance, slim chance of flurries in the south as we get through Friday. A better chance into northern Manitoba, but that does introduce some slightly cooler air as we get into the weekend. -13 into Saturday. -6, a bit breezy on the way for Sunday. And then, yeah, we're climbing close to freezing here as we get into early next week. I've got us at -1 on the way for Monday, and then another chance that we see a few more flurries coming our way as we get into next Tuesday at -3.
All right, Riley, it is that time of year where people like to set new goals,
Yes.
some new priorities maybe. So we asked some Winnipeggers about their New Year's resolutions.
Did you make any New Year's resolutions this year?
Absolutely not.
Okay, why?
I think it's not something that you can really, do for real. I think, if it's something that's done in July, if I decide I'm going to do something, it's a bit easier to stick to.
Eating clean, exercising, feeling better, getting stronger, just focusing on me. 2026, focus on myself.
I did not, because I end up not keeping them, or just 2 weeks in, I get rid of them altogether.
This year I'll not make any resolution because last year I did not implement my resolution, so I'll continue with the last one until I complete it.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe your resolution this year is to get outside a little bit more.
Good time for it.
Yeah.
Families in Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta are sliding into 2026. Here's your daily lift. Look at that. This slide was built by the nonprofit Activate Arts Alberta. It measures almost 40 meters in length. The slide is made from sculpted ice blocks so kids and parents can zip down the entire way.
The nonprofit says the slide took 5 people a week and a half to build. As far as it knows, it is the longest slide of its kind in Canada. They plan to keep the slide in place as long as they can, giving people a reason to hope that the cold weather doesn't go anywhere anytime soon.
All that I just heard in that is a challenge to Manitobans to go for a longer one. I'm sure we can do it.
I'm sure we can find a place to do it.
Right? Well, if you want to try, let us know. We'd love to see it, or maybe even come and try it out.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Have a wonderful night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
See ya.